Alright, we're back to this Muslim guy's debunk of my wife Izzet original, but I gotta say the actual debunking, for lack of a better word, that he does of her is turning out to be a lot less interesting than the bizarre claims he makes. And the defense of slavery in the last video. So let's see what bizarre shit he says this time.
She argued how there is no such thing as chance in this universe.
No, she didn't. She did say that some people think there isn't, but she never made that assertion herself. She just presented the fact that this viewpoint exists as a segue into something else.
Some scientists actually agree with you and argue that there is no chance in the universe, none whatsoever, because every atom simply reacts to its environment. And that means that it has absolutely no freedom to choose any other path.
I have no idea what her opinion actually is on this, if she even has one. I guess I could just ask her, but who cares? She didn't say what you said she said, so it's already clear you're full of shit.
And that atheists don't conform to chance as the explanation of the origin of the universe.
Actually, what she said was that atheists don't say the world originated by mere chance. The world being Earth, and mere chance referring to chance absent any sort of a process that makes some outcomes more likely than others, in the same way that a weight makes a die more likely to fall onto a certain side.
See what I did there? Yeah, I strawmanned you. Because you didn't say it is Islamophobic. The same way atheists and scientists don't tell you that the world came by mere chance. Evolution is not mere chance.
Granted, she could have clarified with a not all, since she wasn't referring to all atheists, but considering that she immediately jumps into talking about why evolution and star formation are driven by processes and not mere chance, it's pretty easy to figure out which subset of atheists she was referring to. Now, pointing out the fact that evolution can't be described as mere chance doesn't deny the role of chance in the process, but rather that chance played the only role, in the sense of rolling a million dice a million times with no process favoring particular types of outcomes versus with a process.
But my question to Izzet Original is that what explanation do they conform to?
Depends on the person. People are individuals. They all have their own opinions on things. We're not united by some belief system. We're united by one thing that we don't believe. Sitting here listing out the opinion of every atheist on the planet would be totally irrelevant to any point under discussion.
Is it a more illogical universe out of nothing explanation? Or is it the universe being eternal explanation?
Either, neither, both. Again, it depends who you ask. There's no point trying to speak for all atheists here, so what does this have to do with anything?
And I don't want a typical agnostic, I don't know position, because her video was regarding atheist and not agnosticist.
Oh my god. How many misunderstandings can you fit into one sentence? There's so much wrong here, I think I'm gonna have to machine gun my responses, so let me see here. I don't know is a perfectly valid response when talking about what other people think. Even if Izzet had said and meant that no atheists believe X, that doesn't mean she would be able to tell you what they do believe. Those are totally separate pieces of knowledge, but of course it's pretty obvious from listening to her that she didn't mean no atheist thinks the world originated by mere chance. She'd have to be almost as dumb as you to assume that. What else? I don't know is a perfectly valid response when talking about the origin of the universe. I don't know does not mean the same thing as I believe God did it, so why the fuck do you think atheists and, agnosticists have to be non-overlapping groups? There's no logical inconsistency in the statement, I don't know if there's a God, but nobody's convinced me there is, so atheism and agnosticalism are not mutually exclusive. And atheism does not mean that you believe in any particular godless explanation for the universe. It doesn't even mean you believe that God isn't the explanation for the universe. It just means you're not convinced that it is. Is that about all? I find that how much wrong you can manage to sincerely pack into one sentence reflects pretty accurately on how wrong your belief system is. How screwed up does your belief system have to be to allow your mind to produce a sentence that laughably wrong in every way? Oh, again? So this time I'm gonna have to go and get my...
Now,
damn it!
On the question of the existence of jinns, she said how Islam fails to prove the existence of jinns. She said that although the Quran acknowledges existence of jinns, it doesn't prove their existence.
Well, she said it in sarcastic opposite speak, because, she's a logic clone. But yeah, basically.
So yes, from the super scientific documentation in the Quran, with its intricate formulas and data, we can clearly conclude that there are indeed jinns who poof things into existence and out of existence.
Now, I don't think she realizes how it works.
Well, I don't think you understand how it works. But that's because I know what you're about to say.
Quran is trustworthy because Prophet, peace be upon him, who recited the Quran, was a truthful person.
Oh, it fills me with such childlike joy. Let me hear that again.
Quran is trustworthy because Prophet, peace be upon him, who recited the Quran, was a truthful person.
Oh, it's glorious. That is some gourmet stupidity, man. The flavor, the consistency of it, it's masterful. Let me enjoy that just one more time before we move on, please.
Quran is trustworthy because Prophet, peace be upon him, who recited the Quran, was a truthful person.
You, sir, are a gift to humanity. Never ever change. Now let me ask you something. You've probably spoken to one or two Christians in your time, right? So when they vomit their absolute dog shit about Jesus being the Son of God and the resurrection and all that, do you believe them? Let me make it a bit more clear for you with a scenario. What if you, as a Muslim, had known that Christian for your whole life, and every single thing they ever told you had been demonstrably true? They'd never told you any stories they couldn't back up with hard evidence, you'd never felt misled by them, and you were really convinced that in every situation they'd told you the brutally honest truth when you asked for it, with no euphemistic language or omissions. And they did that for like 30 years. And then one day out of the blue they said, hey, so there's this thing that happened that I really hope that you will believe me about, and you know I'm trustworthy, so you know it's going to be true, okay? I believe that a talking dog visited me last night and told me Mount Everest is really the Earth base of alien gerbils who control society. And you could see it in their eyes that they were more serious about this than about anything they'd ever told you before. The sincerity here is palpable. So what would you do? Would you assume that what they're saying is 100% factually accurate because they've been trustworthy about all that other stuff for 30 years? Probably not, is my guess. But hey, maybe you would. So let's increase the challenge level. Your friend hands you a book and he says, this is a book of quotes from 1,000 years ago. There was this person who spoke with a talking dog and discovered that alien gerbils control society. And a bunch of people who knew that person wrote down how trustworthy they found this person. And some other people wrote down how trustworthy they'd heard that person was through friends of friends of friends. What do you do now? I mean, this stuff is really compelling, right? So do you start panicking about the space gerbils? Well, maybe you don't, right? Maybe this isn't compelling enough, which is shocking. I mean, this is pretty compelling stuff. But you go, no. This is pretty compelling. I mean, these people from 1,000 years ago who have never met really seem to think this person was trustworthy about non-fantastical stuff. So it's almost certain that they really did talk to a dog about space gerbils. But I just can't buy in yet. I wish I could, but I can't, man.
And also because of the miraculous nature of Quran, with respect to its unique literary, linguistic, scientific, and mathematical patterns.
But your friend notices your doubts and says, aha! But look, isn't the writing style so nice? And I can even sing it, not really with any sort of consistent or pleasant tune, but look, not one syllable is out of place. I mean, sure, I could change there are space gerbils to say there exist space gerbils, but there's too many syllables there, and it would lose its sense of immediate proximity. The visceral nature of there are space gerbils. It penetrates so much deeper into the soul than there exist space gerbils. So think not, human, that you can improve upon the word of dog. Oh, and look, it makes some scientific claims. For example, look here. The Earth is shaped like an American football. No, I mean, of course it's not exactly right, but, it's a metaphor. Besides, it proves the dog didn't think the Earth is flat. I mean, even the people didn't know that back then. How would a dog know? Isn't that amazing? What do you mean the new Earth wasn't flat already? Okay, well, if that doesn't convince you, you fucking skeptic. Look, I've counted up all the occurrences of the word tree and all the occurrences of the word water, and they both occur 8 times. You know, as long as you exclude like half of the pluralizations of the word tree. Because, and trees need water, so that was clearly intentional. Wait, don't go. Look. A bunch of other pairs of words match up in numbers too, as long as you accept or don't accept plurals as need be. Wait, there's more, I promise. So there were a bunch of other versions of this book, but an editor rounded them all up, and he translated them however he wanted, and he put them back together in their current form, and then he destroyed all the old versions so we can't see them anymore. So it's completely impossible that there was any editorial interference in this book. So, I mean, how could a dog possibly keep track of how many times it said all these different words? You know? It's just a stupid dog. Dogs can't count. Oh, you really have to go? Well, okay, friend. Watch out for the space gerbils.
So once you acknowledge that Quran is from Allah, the All-Knowing, you automatically believe in what it says.
Well, that's not necessarily true, since knowing everything doesn't stop you from lying. But sure, I would be a hell of a lot more likely to believe what it says if I seriously thought it was from an all-knowing being, but the problem is, your evidence that it comes from such a being is so utterly ludicrous, so comically flawed, that all it proves is you're a fucking idiot. And so Izet and I don't believe you. Any of you. You're all fucking idiots. And that's what you don't quite seem to get, man. When she says stuff like that the Quran saying there are jinn doesn't actually mean there are jinn, it's because she's not a Muslim. She doesn't believe in your God or that the book came from it. Did you fail to notice that somehow? I mean, it wasn't exactly a state secret. So arguing that there actually are jinn on the basis that everything the Quran says must be true if you believe Allah wrote it means exactly dick all. You fucking dumb shit. Oh, and by the way, you're not gonna find Izet calling dumb shits like you fucking dumb shits with the same frequency I do. There's a difference between us if you're looking for them.
Secondly, there is also a lot of subjective evidence of so many people who have encountered with jinns or ghosts or demons.
You know, there are a few other terms for subjective evidence, such as anecdote, story, tall tale. And you know, I'm not even saying people are all lying. Spend just a couple of hours reading about any of the multitude of not just mental disorders people can have, that's a whole other can of worms, but also just the ways that perfectly healthy brains can be fooled and are fooled on a regular basis. And it becomes next to impossible to accept the stories of random people who say they saw ghosts or spoke to angels as good evidence. Now, some people are outright lying, of course, and others publish hoax videos or pictures or whatever, which then go on to get debunked by people like Oscar Jungel, who you should go subscribe to because he's awesome. But many other people are honest, generally trustworthy people who just misinterpreted some experience they had and couldn't think of any other explanation and sincerely believe everything they're saying. And unfortunately, every time anyone tries to investigate any phenomena like these, using good methodology, nothing comes of it. Nothing at all. Well, sometimes you do get a natural explanation for whatever sight or sound spooked the person originally, but that's about the best you can hope for. Look, everyone has a story about something they saw, right? I have a relative who swears he sees trans-dimensional Sasquatches in the forest all the time. I'm not kidding. He even published a book about it, complete with pictures in which he circled Sasquatch faces in the forest background. Need I even point out that there's nothing there but branches? Look, we can't go around believing everything everyone thinks they saw, because otherwise we'll believe every bit of magical nonsense ever proposed by anyone. TLDR, evidence, or GTFO?
There are so many examples coming from areas of Africa, from Bangladesh, and from other parts of the world about paranormal activity and jinns that their existence is hard to reject.
By the way, man, I love what you consider good sources. 5 authors writing ghost stories for the Daily Mail, some random person whose house makes noise at night, and someone who felt a presence and woke up because they thought the bed rattled. Really? Shit, even I get that when I stay awake too long and start getting jumpy. And that's it, that's all your sources. And I'm assuming you brought your best material, considering you're publishing this to convince the whole world on YouTube that this oxymoronic good anecdotal evidence for jinn really exists. And these are the best you have. You're incredible.
And lastly, let me tell you something funny. In videos of Izat Original and also of Logicked, you will see multiple times certain symbols that are associated with the devil.
Oh my goodness, oh dear. I had no idea. But now that you mention it, Satan's infiltrated my old background that EZET still uses. Oh no. What do you got circled here? Oh wow, there's 666. And there's the all-seeing eye, red and blue Reptoid version. I was particularly proud of that one myself. But now that you've pointed out all this evil imagery in here, I'm starting to notice a few more things that the devil snuck in that you didn't notice. For example, look, that roof's held up by satanic crosses. And over here there are some inverted crosses. There's a devil beast pool toy. And behind that is the Satanic Temple's Baphomet statue in the middle of a pentagram on the ground. Oh yeah, and of course the fact that the whole place is hell. And is that a giant black dildo?
Now, obviously, it would mean that they believe in the existence of devil.
Does it? Really? Wow, that's fascinating. So, by that logic, if I had a fantasy movie theme in my videos, that would mean I believe in elves and dragons and shit, would it? I had no idea that worked that way, but now that you explain it, it makes so much sense.
Now, the question arises, what was the devil?
A fictional character in a storybook, but symbolically, I see him as the opposer, the enemy of those who claim dominion over others. He's the one who freed humanity by questioning all the lies that chained us down and showing us that we could do the same. He's the light bringer who shines the light of knowledge into the dark pit of ignorance. Pretty decent symbol for a channel like ours, I think. Especially because it really gets under the skin of religious dicks like you.
According to Bible, he was a fallen angel. And according to Islam, the devil was a jinn.
And according to me and EZET, he's a figment of your deeply indoctrinated imagination. What of it?
So, isn't it a paradox that at one place they try to disprove the existence of jinns, and on the other hand, they are obsessed with certain symbols associated with a jinn?
You mean associated with the fallen angel, right? You know, you brought up conflicting narratives, man, so don't be surprised when people notice. The devil was either a fallen angel or a genie. So now that we've established that the devil was a genie, let me base my entire argument on that. Yeah, nah. You set it up as if the question is not settled, so you can't turn around and act like it's settled in the very next sentence. Hey, by the way, dude, think about this critically for a second, okay? Do you really think we're obsessed with satanic imagery? Especially when both of us will just come right out and say that Satan is as fictional and unbelievable as God? Or could it maybe be slightly more likely that we, being entertainers, just plop some satanic imagery in the background to raise the blood pressure of people like you just a little tiny bit for entertainment, and then we have a chuckle, and we get on with our lives? Well, of course the real answer is that we keep a satanic shrine in the baby room and we sacrifice a goat in there once a week. But you didn't know that. Oh, a pause! I'm not even gonna ask this time, I'll be right back. Ha-ha! I win!
Now, finally, on this issue of evolution and religion, I would suggest that evolution is a fact and can easily be understood in the light of religion.
Oh, neat. Well, I'm glad we don't have to have the evolution conversation then.
Which is that Allah created Adam and Eve, peace be upon them, with such a genetic makeup that had the ability to evolve into different traits.
Oh. Do you ever have one of those days where all you want to do is curl up under a rock and die?
However, on the issue of Darwinian evolution, we are very hesitant on accepting it as a fact.
Okay, yeah, I noticed. As soon as you brought up, Adam and Eve.
I believe that although there are aspects of Darwinian evolution that may be correct, however, it does have some serious issues related with the amount of evidence that we have at present.
And that's it for your debunk of evolution, I guess. You're no Kent Hovind, but I really can't say that bothers me.
My question to EZET Original is that does she believe that Darwinian evolution is a fact in light of modern science?
Yes. Actually, I'll let her tell you herself. Hey, EZET, do you think Darwinian evolution is a fact in light of modern science? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Smoochiekins. Love you. Yep. So, that's dealt with. What's next? Wait, that's it? That's your outro. Not even a goodbye, huh? Damn, man, that's harsh. Well, to my audience, I'm not going to abruptly abandon you like that. If you like my videos, subscribe and thumb up this video so you can see future ones, and share it with any friends you think might enjoy it. And if you really like my videos, consider supporting me on Patreon. The wonderful people you see on the screen right now support me at $5 or more, and they've had this video since yesterday. And they and everyone else who support me through Patreon or PayPal are the best. Anyway, I will see you all next time.